I'm glad you remember it, Thomas. Okay, I started recording this late for those of you who are watching it on the YouTube, but this section beforehand is just review. We're going to get to the new stuff momentarily. My lights are doing funny things. Okay, so these are codon charts for activity 2, and this shows you the protein synthesis, right? So the DRNA transcribes into mRNA, and then it translates into a protein. I think that the restaurant analogy is much better than the one that I had about spies, for those of you who got that one day. But for those of you who haven't gotten it, no, not worth it. It'll just confuse you maybe. So we're moving on to metabolism. Okay, guys? So what is metabolism? You guys have probably heard of it your whole lives. You've probably been told, oh my God, you're all so skinny because your metabolism is much better. But wait until you're 25 and then your metabolism goes out and then you're fat. And that is what happened to me, not really. You could still have the body of a god, though, even if you're fat. Just ask Mr. Jonas. So, what is metabolism? It is the sum of all life-sustaining chemical reactions within all organisms. So life-sustaining, just the things that are keeping you alive, right? It is the sum of all of these things that are within you as a living organism. So if I eat a banana I gain metabolism, you have a metabolism that would break down the banana that you eat. You do not have a metabolism because you ate a banana. Okay? So metabolism is basically just all the things that are in your body that are keeping you alive, all of them working together. So here's one example, cellular respiration. So this is when it converts oxygen. Oh God, I can't read the whole slide. There we go. Oh no. All right, better. Converts glucose and oxygen into water, carbon dioxide, and ATP, and it requires a chemical reaction. Okay? So if you remember cellular respiration, you're taking in sugar, and you're taking in oxygen, and you're taking in water. If you have a slow metabolism, you will die faster. No, that's not how it works. If you have a slow metabolism, you're going to get energy slower. Doesn't mean you're dying faster. So if you think about koalas, let's think about koalas for a second. I think that evolutionarily they're very dumb, because eventually they'll just die because their teeth, if they don't die from predators or something else dumb, they'll die because the food that they eat grinds away their teeth, and then they won't have teeth to eat the food, and then they just die of starvation. No, everybody does not have the same rate of metabolism. I'd say that they have the same amount, if that makes sense, because everyone has what they need for metabolism, but the same rate at which they metabolize things is not the same. Anyways, back to the koalas. Koalas, they eat eucalyptus leaves, very low in nutrients and stuff like that. So what they do is they just kind of, it's okay, Laura, you're fine. They just kind of fall asleep, right? They sleep for 20 hours a day, and then they eat for the other parts of it, right? Because they're trying to conserve energy because they don't get a lot of it. I'm sorry if I offended any koala lovers here, but I stand firm on in my belief that evolution was not kind to them. Although I guess it was kind, because I think they're like the only things that eat eucalyptus leaves. So they serve their own niche. They sort of figured out how to live. Anyways, so cellular respiration, you're taking glucose, oxygen into water, and carbon dioxide is coming out, and ATP. So, right, you breathe in, that's the oxygen coming in. You ate some food. I had some enchiladas this morning. And water. You're using that to, wait, hold on. No, you're not taking in water. Sorry. I'm thinking wrong. I'm sorry, Thomas. So just sugar and oxygen, you're taking it in, and then what comes out is H2O, so water, carbon dioxide, so you can go, CO2 is leaving you, and you get ATP, so you get energy. So this is one of those life-sustaining processes. This is a metabolic process, right? This is metabolism. So metabolism falls into three core categories. First, you convert food into energy. So cellular respiration, right? You convert food into necessary building blocks. So Jay, go crazy. I think that's Damien. Okay. Food into necessary building blocks. So protein synthesis, right? And then there's elimination of waste. So you're getting rid of any waste products in your body. So first, converting food into energy. So let's talk about cellular respiration again, right? You're using that to take the food that you eat, whatever it may be. Hopefully, let's just say it's Pop-Tarts. You eat some Pop-Tarts in the morning, and you take the Pop-Tart building blocks, and your body's like, all right, this is the perfect sustenance we need. And you take it and you turn it into energy, and then you just kind of run a marathon after that, because what gives you more energy than Pop-Tarts? I dare you to... Oh, okay. No problem. So you use in metabolism, you convert food into energy, cellular respiration. Okay, it's one big one. Oh my God, nope, went too far. So, and then you take that energy and you just do what you want in this day and age. You can jump rope, you can run around, you can play. You got to make sure that if you do that outside that you have a mask on, but you can do it. So the sun provides the energy. It goes down into these plants, these carrots specifically. Little Sally eats the carrots. She turns into a rabbit, and then she hops around a bit. Easy. Metabolism in work. Okay? So you move on from that. Does the rabbit die? Eventually. Everything dies. Rabbits have a very short lifespan, if what I understand is to be correct. I mean, no, the rabbit doesn't die. Yeah, it's not the infinity jellyfish. Oh, God, I can't remember which one that is. We learned about it in zoology, I think. Zoology, my bad. Anyways, so another thing that metabolic processes do, they convert food into building blocks. So if you remember way back to the beginning, there's these things called macromolecules. I think you guys learned about this. I'm not sure. They're made up of smaller subunits. They're called monomers, but they have, the large ones are polymers. So there's 4 different types of macromolecules. Does anyone remember what they are? Or what some of them are? I will wait. All right, I'll start you off. What is carbohydrates? This is Jeopardy, so we have to answer everything in the form of a question. Those are one of them, yeah. Do you know what the real word for it is, Thomas? Or the other word for fats is? Yeah, lipids. Good job. Lipids is one of them. Yes. So we'll start off with carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, the monomer is called a monosaccharide. So think about like glucose or lactose. The polymer is a polysaccharide. So like think starches. So bread, pasta, veggies, all the things in the world that are actually good for you. And everyone has been trying to tell you that no, they're not good for you and it'll make you die faster. But really, you're going to live longer if you eat things that are happier for you and make you like feel like you're eating a cloud. And when you eat it, it feels like you're resting your head on a pillow. You know what I mean? That's the feeling I get sometimes when I eat bread, like really soft French bread. Anyways, so what do? So they store energy for the short term, right? Does anyone know what is the long-term storage? It's because it is because I'm old. I'm very old at my ripe old age of 26. I'm 26. Oh man, after your 20th birthday, it's just you just kind of forget. I am 26. Yes. Okay. So carbohydrates do short-term storage. They're very easy to break down. So you can break them down, and they provide. I did have to think about my age for a second, but I mean, like, at least it was only a second. There's people who are like 45 that have to think for at least a minute to do the math. I also had to just do the math because I couldn't remember. um, so, easy to break down. You break down the sugars and they become energy. They're very easy. That's why they're short term, because they're gonna be the first thing that you're using. And they can also provide some structural support, right? Okay. So we'll move on to the next one. Proteins. Whenever you work out, everyone tells you to eat proteins. So your monomer for that is amino acids. That's a big shocker considering what we talked about earlier. And your polymer is proteins, right? So you string all those amino acids together using protein synthesis, and then you get a protein. What do? So they do a lot of different things. So some of them, they do chemical reactions. They facilitate those. Those ones are called enzymes. So, well, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about enzymes later, but enzymes are pretty cool because they go around and they're like, oh, we need to break this down, or, oh, we need to do this reaction. We're going to come in here and help you out. And it lowers the energy that they'll need to do it a lot of times. A lot of them are, or they help break things down easier, right? So we'll talk about like lactose and lactase later. So they do chemical reactions through enzymes. They facilitate growth. They repair of cells and tissues. This is why people tell you to eat proteins after you work out, right? Because you're breaking down some of your muscles and tissues and stuff like that. So they got to come in and repair those. They give you structural support and movement. So most of your muscles are made out of, actually all of them are made out of proteins, right? This is the backbone for everything, really. Proteins is most of your structure in your body. Yep, I would agree with that. I think chocolate milk is just good whenever though. So, actually after this, I'll just go have some chocolate milk myself. Anyways, and hormones. Oh, it is? I did not know that. So Mr. Jonas is saying rattlesnake venom is an enzyme of sorts. So, yeah, that makes sense because it would it starts breaking down stuff in your body, right? So rattlesnake venom is an enzyme of sorts. You can drink snake poison or venom if you would like to. I do not recommend it. I think that would be, well, that would be a Darwin Award, Thomas, if you did that. Would I die? Yes, you would die if you did not. Well, it depends on what snake venom you drink. So examples of proteins: meat, eggs, beans, peanut butter, enzymes. So like liver, all the things. I keep freezing on your screen. I don't know what to tell you. I think we don't have any venomous snakes in the classroom. I don't think that administration would be very keen to have that in their classrooms. Anyways, moving on to what Thomas brought up, lipids. So the monomer is called a fatty acid, and the polymer is the lipid, right? So what do? They're long-term storage, right? So carbohydrates, the carbs, those are the short-term. You're going to break those down first for energy. Lipids, or your fats, are the long-term storage. You break those down last, which is why when you store them, it's really hard to get rid of them. So when you become fat, like me, it's really hard to get rid of those things. Gosh darn it. Because you're going to use all your carbohydrates first, and then way later they'll turn to your lipids, to your fats, to break those down. All right? They're hard to break down. They're not going to dissolve in water. They're hydrophobic. Yeah, I think that's what they're called. They're like waterproof, right? So they don't break down easily, and that's why it's partially why we're not using them. Yeah, they're hydrophobic. They are basically, yeah, they're scared of water. They repel away from water. And that's why when you put like oil in the water, the oil floats to the top, right? And they're there for cell structure. This is the reason why when the Wicked Witch of the West gets hit with water, she dissolves because she doesn't have any fats. She's very skinny. When we get water thrown on us, we don't melt because we have these fats to make us waterproof. Because otherwise, we would easily melt, and that would not be a fun time, especially since we need to drink water to live. So our examples for this are fats, oils, and butter, wax, cholesterol, right? So, yeah. Anyways, that's lipids in a nutshell. If you're going to remember one thing, remember long-term energy storage and that it makes us waterproof. And then our last macromolecule is nucleic acids. So the monomer is a nucleotide. So we have the 4 major ones in DNA. So we have adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, or ATCG. Polymer is nucleic acids. And what do? They contain instructions on how to build proteins, right? We use them in protein synthesis. And our examples are DNA and RNA, right? So the polymer for this is DNA and RNA, the nucleic acids. So we talked about, let's go up here first. Let's go back up here. So we talked about converting food into energy, right? Cellular respiration, converting food into necessary building blocks. So those are the 4 macromolecules. We talk about elimination of waste. So byproducts, the things that also result from processes, are converted into useful molecules or eliminated entirely from the body. Okay? So if you think about cellular respiration, or no, this example wants us to use photosynthesis. So let's think about photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, you are taking sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, and you're converting that into sugar and oxygen. The plant uses the sugar to, to eat. And it uses the oxygen for cellular respiration, but it produces too much oxygen to use in it. So a lot of that is just expelled from the plant. That's how we get oxygen in our atmosphere, right? The plants are providing that oxygen. So we use this oxygen for our cellular respiration. Breakdown of proteins in food creates ammonia as a waste product, which is eliminated through urine. So when you eat things, right, you're breaking down all of these proteins to use into further building blocks, but you're also making ammonia, which you're getting rid of through urinating, right? So in metabolism, you're also getting rid of waste products, okay? Let's talk about enzymes, right? Enzymes are a special type of protein. They speed up chemical reactions in the body, and they break molecules apart or help put them back together. Or not even back together, just together in general. So enzymes do a lot of things. So some of them, they speed up chemical reactions. If you use it, you can make the energy required to do that chemical reaction much quicker, much less. So, oh God, what's a good example for this one? Should have thought about this earlier. I'm sure Mr. Jonas has a good one. He'll tell me eventually. Enzymes also break molecules apart or put them together, okay? So let's think about like your liver. Your liver's kind of a big enzyme on itself. It helps break apart those molecules. If you think about like people who drink a lot, right? Your liver helps facilitate that, breaks them down, breaks down poisons. Like Mr. Jonas said, snake venom is another enzyme, kind of, because it helps break it. When it goes into the body, it starts breaking things down as well. There's going to be an Amoeba Sisters video you watch that talks about enzymes more in depth. But yeah, so enzymes are pretty cool. One example is lactose, or lactase, sorry. Lactose is a macromolecule, okay? It's a carb. Lactase is an enzyme that specifically breaks apart lactose. So it's built in a way that lactose kind of fits into it. And then when the lactose goes into the lactase is all right. Okay, so that's some lactose. We're just going to break it up, and then it just kind of eats it. And it's broken apart. So people that are lactose intolerant, you've heard of this probably, right? Yeah. What if you can't have lactose? Right. If you're lactose intolerant, it means you're not really producing lactase, I'm pretty sure. Or if you are producing lactase, you're not producing enough of it to break down all of the lactose that you're introducing into yourself, right? Just like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And I think that's it for this week. So again, if you put popcorn in your mouth and the saliva starts to dissolve it, that is an enzyme process. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, you have a lot of enzymes in your mouth to help break down things. All right, saliva is an enzyme, like Mr. Jonas has just said, because it's helping break down all those food molecules beforehand. So you're not only just breaking down the food that you eat by like chewing it, saliva is also like softening it and breaking it down as well. I want some popcorn too. Maybe I'll get that later. Like cotton candy, they melt in your mouth. Yes, right. So like those things that easily break down, like cotton candy, which is literally just sugar. And what do we know about sugar or carbohydrates? Easiest thing to break down. So when you put it in your mouth, the saliva is breaking it down using enzymes to do that. Yep, carbs break down fast, quick. It's fast energy. Diabetes is not the same. That's a different thing. But yeah, cotton candy breaks down fast because it's just a carb. It's literally just sugar. Just like if you just put sugar in your mouth, the sugar would break down fast as well. I do not recommend just eating sugar, by the way. It's not. Wait, so is water an enzyme because it breaks down cotton candy? No, because water is not a protein. Water is a universal solvent, though. So water like dissolves pretty much everything but lipids. It's just because of the property of water. It's not because it's an enzyme. It's because water just dissolves everything but lipids. Anything that's hydrophobic, it doesn't dissolve those. How much sugar can you eat before you have a sugar rush? Probably a lot of sugar. I'm not sure if a sugar rush is real. You can have 2 candy corns. It all depends on your level of sugar you intake. It's not good for you though. Okay, homework. Uh, yeah, I can email the assignments to you, Isaac. I was pretty sure. Here, I'll stop the share, or I'll do a new share. Okay. I was pretty sure I put it on my page. Huh. I'm so confused. I literally put it on. I'll put it back. I'll put it on. It kicks me out. What is the assignment we are doing? Send me Pop-Tarts and I will study sugar concentration for you. Guys, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. Can you, guys, I don't make any money. Send Mr. Jonas Pop-Tarts, please. Here, I'm going to stop the share real quick, and I'm going to try and put it on here again. Okay, maybe it just didn't say packet. Okay. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Save. Save. Okay. All right, it's up there now. Oh my God, so many people talked. Yeah. So for this week's lecture, do the question and one thing you learned from the lecture, and then activity 3. Okay, guys. So activity 3 is the Amoeba Sisters on enzymes. Like really, you've already learned pretty much everything on protein synthesis already, right? You had a long time learning it, or not a long time. You had like 1 day of learning it, and then you had a quiz on it. So I wish more people had watched this or came to the Zoom lecture just because so they didn't have to do things again, because activity 2 is literally the same thing that you guys have already done, except a little bit less. But some people have already finished, which is fine. They're just ahead of the curve. Anyways, it's on my website now. I don't know why it wasn't earlier, but it's on there now. It's activity 3, question and what you learned. Yes. Activity 3, a question from the lecture and something that you learned. All right, see you later, Logan. Okay. Do you know Metro? I do not. I'm going to stop recording this.